What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Full 90. It's time for Week 17 Bundesliga predictions. And yes, I'm uploading this on a Sunday. So, spoiler alert, because of that, I'm recording it on a Friday, which is before any of the games from the previous game week have taken place. Now, it's not ideal. It's not my preference to go into a game week without knowing what happened in the one before. But the last time I did that in Serie A, we got a treble-winning ACCA, a bunch of correct results, and correct scores as well. So, I think we can zoom out, look at these games from a more macro perspective, and still get some very accurate predictions. I don't think you need to know the previous game result as much as people would lead you to believe. Obviously, if you get something wrong, someone's going to say, with hindsight, yeah, maybe you should have known that. But it's never really that big of an issue. I still think we can get some good predictions for this game week. So with that being said, drop yours in the comments below. If you think I'm particularly wrong on one of them, let me know in the comments. As long as you're respectful about it, I'm happy for you to disagree with me. In fact, I encourage it. So leave your comments down below. Whilst you're down there, flashing up on the screen are everyone that is supporting me over on the Patreon. If you want to shout out in every single video and seeing your name on the screen, as well as access to exclusive members tips and accumulators, giveaways, the group chats, my League predictions, and everything else, then please do click the top link in the description, head over to the Full 90 Patreon page and support me over there. But with that being said, let's get straight in to the Bundesliga. And to be honest, there aren't many times where I have to do a game week without any knowledge of the entire previous one. So I'm intrigued to see how we do. And naturally, I think we're going to do fine because I back myself as a predictor. So let's get straight in to these games. So going forward, I'm not going to say too much about the games that haven't yet happened in terms of what I think might happen, because that's what my last Bundesliga prediction video was for. So if you want to check that out, by all means, you can do that, see how I got on. But we're kicking off here on Tuesday, and that is why I have to upload on the Sunday, because I've got another video for the Monday. There's so much to do. It is Stuttgart up against Eintracht Frankfurt. As it currently stands, only 1 point separates these two teams. I think you've got to go with the home team here. Frankfurt have a very difficult game previously against Borussia Dortmund, the result of which I don't currently know. You will. Stuttgart, I think at home, should be able to get the win. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win, but just in case it ends in a score draw, which I think is very likely, I think the odds for the tip, both teams to score at 1.57, are decent enough considering this is the Bundesliga that we're talking about, where there tends to be a lot of goals. If I look at my predictions here, I've only got one team this week not scoring a goal, and that generally speaks volumes of the Bundesliga and how many goals we can expect. So I think Stuttgart should potentially win, but we've seen some upsetting performances from Stuttgart before, and Frankfurt are definitely capable of getting a goal, getting something. So both teams to score is the tip. After this, it is Borussia Dortmund up against Werder Bremen. Dortmund, as I said, playing Frankfurt, but this game at home, they need to win. Werder Bremen, they're in a bit of a poor spot right now, 2 points from their last 5 games. Dortmund, on the other hand, 11 points from their last 5 games. Again, I say it every single video, they've only lost 1 game this season in the league, and that was against Bayern Munich. Everyone else has lost at least 4. Borussia Dortmund has only lost 1, which is 1 more than Bayern, and that was in the game against Bayern. So had they just drawn that, Bayern and Dortmund would both be unbeaten this season, and for that reason, I think Dortmund win this one at home quite comfortably, 3-1. The odds of Borussia Dortmund to win, as you can see, are very, very low. So I'm just going to tip, it's still pretty low, but the odds are okay, I guess. The tip is over 2.5 goals at odds of 1.44. It's not often that I don't include both teams to score when I go overs, but it does allow for a 3-0, a 4-0. I think Borussia Dortmund are really, really good. So I'm going to go for a 3-1 win. After this, we have Hamburg up against Bayer Leverkusen. Bayer Leverkusen currently occupying 3rd spot. But if we assume that the Bundesliga only gets 4 Champions League spots, then they really need to cement themselves in the top 4. They're only 2 points ahead of Hoffenheim, tied with Leipzig as well. I think this is the perfect game for Leverkusen to win, and I do think Hamburg potentially are in danger of slipping into somewhat of at least a relegation battle. It's the only blank I'm giving this week. I'm going for a 2-0 win to Bayer Leverkusen, and when you look at the 2-0 win and the odds, you've got to go for it. Bayer Leverkusen to win at odds of 2.05, coming off the back of 2 wins, potentially another win. You don't know what happened in the last game week, but I think Bayer Leverkusen, whatever happens, should be able to go away to Hamburg and get the win. After this, it is Mainz up against Heidenheim. This is a tough one. This is a real 6-pointer here. Mainz are bottom on 8 points. Heidenheim are second bottom on 11 points. And Mainz have only won 1 game all season. Heidenheim, they had the same. They'd only won 1 game. Then they beat Union Berlin and Freiburg back-to-back 2-1. I think back to some of the draws they got. I mean, you got Bayern Munich there TSG Hoffenheim there. Mainz are not a bottom of the league Bundesliga side. I mean, they technically are. They've won 2 games less than everyone else. I think they're going to win this one. And by the same scoreline that Heidenheim got their 2 wins, I'm saying Mainz gets a 2-1 win. And I quite like the odds of Mainz to win at 1.7. This is a must win. If you're Mainz, this is your easiest fixture of the season. Heidenheim at your home ground. Obviously, other people could consider Mainz at home a difficult fixture. But then, as I said, you look at that 2-2 draw with Bayern Munich. Like, what the heck? So, Mainz have to win this. And I'm going to say 2-1, and I say that they do at odds of 1.7. Similarly, after this, we have Wolfsburg up against St Pauli. Now, St Pauli, somehow, despite all their losses, they've had 9. I mean, Wolfsburg have had 8, which is awful. If St Pauli win this, they go level with Wolfsburg on 15 points and potentially climb out of the relegation zone. That cannot happen. Wolfsburg are too good to go down. I personally don't think St Pauli are too good to go down. But Wolfsburg are. I mean, thank God for them. They've got 7 points from their last 4 games, because before that, they were on 8 points themselves. They were not looking very, very good. St Pauli, some good results recently as well, to get themselves further away from the bottom of the league. But Wolfsburg have to win this. I'm going to go for another 2-1. And again, I think the odds are really, really good. Wolfsburg to win at odds of 1.85. I just think these two here, such big, big games at home. Big implications for the end of the season and where they finish. These are some of the easiest 3 points that Mainz and Wolfsburg are going to come across, potentially. That's not to say they will definitely win. We know there's no guarantees, but they've got to win. So I'm going for a 2-1. After this, we travel to Hoffenheim up against Borussia Monchengladbach. I looked at these 2 teams and immediately I came to this conclusion. I looked at them, I said 3-3. And I thought, all right, now let's look at the head-to-heads. I looked at the head-to-heads, and their last meeting was a 4-4. I thought, okay, vindicated. I'm going for a 3-3. But what I didn't understand is why the odds for this tip were therefore so high. The tip is both teams to score and over 2.5 goals at odds of 1.83. We only need half the goals for that to happen. A 2-1 either way. But I'm going 3-3. I think there's going to be a lot of goals, and both teams to score and over 2.5 goals at 1.83 looks like a steal. It looks like a really good pick. I would have put it about 1.5 even. I think that's so high. I don't get it. I'm going for a 3-3 draw. After this, it is Koln up against Bayern Munich. Koln winless in 6. Bayern Munich undefeated all season. You know where this is going. I am going for a win to Bayern Munich. I'm going to go 3-1. Quite conservative. I've suggested that they will batter. I think it's Wolfsburg in the last game week. I think they'll win that quite comfortably, but I'm going for 3-1. I think Koln can score. I think Bayern can concede, and the tip is going to be Bayern Munich and both teams to score at 2.2. But honestly, Bayern Munich at 1.3 is not bad. Bayern Munich and over 1.5, probably close to 1.5. Really good. There's actually quite a bit of value to have on Bayern Munich away from home here against Koln. And I don't really know why. Maybe it's fixture congestion for Bayern. Champions League coming up. I just think Bayern Munich should walk this one 3-1. After this, RB Leipzig up against Freiburg. Again, this is a bit of a tricky one because Leipzig, I mean, they lost to Bayer Leverkusen, they lost to Union Berlin. But before that, they'd lost 2 games all season. They're still in the top 4. Freiburg down in 9th. Leipzig should win this one at home. Obviously, in football, there's a lot of shoulds that don't come to fruition, but I am going to predict Leipzig to win 2-1. In case we see a 1-1 draw or a 2-2 draw, the tip is going to be RB Leipzig double chance and both teams to score. The odds are 1.83, which is slightly higher than a Leipzig win, and I think that's more likely than a Leipzig win because obviously Leipzig can win and that tip can also still come in. So I think that's a really, really good pick. And finally, we have Augsburg up against Union Berlin. This one's a really tough one to predict. Union Berlin having a better season. Augsburg at home, slight favourites. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I thought about BTTS and under 3.5 goals, but I could see this being even 1-0 either way, or even 0-0. But I don't think I have the cojones to predict a 0-0 in the Bundesliga. But I am going to tip, despite it being a 1-1 prediction, under 2.5 goals at odds of 1.66. So there's the summary of my picks. As I said, all teams scoring but Hamburg. Is that going to happen? Most likely not. It's quite difficult to predict 17 out of 18 teams scoring and get it bang on, but I think it could be close. I think there's a lot of value to have on Bayer Leverkusen away at Hamburg, but you've got to look at the likes of Mainz and Wolfsburg at home. They really need that win. Bayern to win as always, and goals between Hoffenheim and Gladbach. But please do let me know your predictions down in the comments below. That is going to do it for the Bundesliga predictions. I can't wait to see specifically, like I said, how these come in without the knowledge of the previous game week. If you did enjoy this video, please do drop a like, subscribe so you don't miss any more videos, and I'll see you in the next one very soon.